We're just drowning in numbers. Polls, data, charts. They're coming at us from every direction, every single day. But what if the secret to understanding it all wasn't about some complex math? What if the real key was something much simpler? Just intuition.
Right, this famous quote, it pretty much sums up how a lot of us feel about statistics. The whole field kind of has this reputation for being, well, inaccessible, maybe a little boring, and definitely a bit deceptive.
But here's an idea. What if statistics could actually be your superpower? In this explainer, we're going to dive into Charles Whelan's fantastic book, Naked Statistics, to show you how that superpower isn't about memorizing formulas at all. It's about learning to see the simple, powerful truths that are hiding right behind the numbers.
Okay, let's be real for a second. For a lot of us, statistics just feels like a chore. I mean, the author Charles Whelan, he felt the exact same way. He hated his high school calculus class, and he was always thinking, what is the point of all this? And this is the paradox, right? The author argues that most stats books just get it completely wrong. They just bury you in all this math and jargon, and they totally miss the simple, powerful ideas that actually matter.
So that's what we're going to do here. Our goal is to give you a kind of toolkit for critical thinking. The idea is to transform you from someone who just passively consumes data into someone who can look at a number and confidently question it.
All right, let's kick things off with a single, seemingly harmless word. A word that can be used to tell two completely, and I mean completely, different stories. So picture this. 10 people are hanging out in a bar. Their average income is $35,000. Seems pretty straightforward, right? You're picturing a typical middle-class place. Nothing crazy. And then Bill Gates walks in. And as the author points out, he's got his talking parrot with him. Now, the parrot isn't statistically relevant, of course, but hey, it definitely spices things up a bit. So now there are 11 people in the bar. And all of a sudden, the new average income in that bar is $91 million. Now, here's the kicker. That number is technically correct, but it is also grossly, wildly misleading. Why? Because none of the original 10 people are any richer. Their reality hasn't changed one single bit. And this is the huge, crucial difference between the mean and the median. The median income in that bar is still $35,000. It just ignores the outlier, Bill Gates, and tells a much, much truer story. So here's the first tool for your statistical toolkit. Anytime you hear the word average, your first question has to be, wait, are we talking about the mean or the median?
Now for one of the biggest mental traps in all of statistics. This is a big one. It's when we assume that just because two things seem related, one must be causing the other.
So you see a headline like this, right? And what does your brain do? It immediately tries to connect the dots, to create a story. Maybe swinging a golf club puts a strain on your heart.
And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Is there a direct causal link here? I mean, if you stop playing golf, does your risk of heart disease actually go down?
Well, no. The crucial piece of the puzzle here is a hidden or omitted variable, age. People who play a lot of golf, they tend to be older, right? Maybe they're retired. And older people, well, they just have a higher rate of heart disease. So golf isn't the culprit, old age is.
This is a classic trap in statistics. So the takeaway here is simple, but it's so important. Always, always ask yourself, what crucial piece of information might be missing from this story?
Okay, for our last secret, let's look at how statisticians seem to pull off actual magic, how they can accurately describe millions of people by just talking to a tiny, tiny fraction of them. This is the incredible power of inference. You're basically using data from a small, known world, your sample, to make these incredibly informed guesses about the huge, unknown world of an entire population. It's amazing. And this powerful logic, it really boils down to 4 steps. So, first, you state a null hypothesis. That's just a fancy way of saying you assume the thing you're testing has zero effect. For example, this new drug does nothing. Second, you go collect data from a random sample. Third, you look at your results and ask, okay, how likely would these results be if the drug really did nothing? And finally, if the results are super unlikely, like a statistical long shot, you get to reject that it does nothing idea and conclude that your new idea is actually supported by the evidence. That's how we separate what's real from what's just random chance. So there you have it. By just stripping away some of the jargon, you are now armed with a brand new toolkit for seeing the real stories and, yeah, the lies that hide behind the numbers.
You know, the main takeaway from all of this is that good statistics is way less about complex calculations and way more about asking the right questions. It's about bringing your curiosity and, yeah, a healthy dose of skepticism to the data you see every day.
And as Whelan reminds us, just because you master statistics, that doesn't stop people from using numbers to deceive you. In fact, a lot of the time, the bad guys know exactly what they're doing. But you know what? Now you do too. You have the power to spot it.
And that really is your new superpower. It's not just about passively accepting the numbers you're handed. It's about challenging them, questioning them, and finding the real story that's hidden inside. The numbers are out there, they're naked, and now it's up to you to see the truth.